Here's a demonstration on how I'm going to chop up this character here. I downloaded the image off of the internet and now I'm just going to cut them out. You could use this wand tool and just select some pixels back here. I'm holding shift to add to my selection, and you can see that now I've selected all these, even though it's a white and blue gradient in the background, I've selected all these pixels in the back. Now I'll just hit delete, Command D to deselect that selection, hitting V to go back to the move tool. I need to break the arms off and the legs off. The legs are really easy because there's already like a straight line up here. And if I utilize the polygonal lasso tool, I can just carefully make a straight line going right across. Okay, I've got a selection made on that left leg. It's the screen left leg. And I'll use the keyboard command, Command Shift J. All right, 3 keys together, Command Shift and then J. And what that'll do is it'll cut that selection out and paste it in the exact same spot on its own layer. So now I'll just rename this layer left leg, and it's been separated. Let's do the same thing for the right leg. Make sure you have the source layer selected first. All right, making a selection now. Okay, I've got the selection of the right leg. As I look closer, it looks like it's not like a perfect straight line up here. So I'll hold Alt, and when I hold Alt, a minus sign comes up. All right, might look better if I add it. So I'm gonna hold Shift to add. Oh, when I said holding Alt, it's because I'm on a PC. If you're on a Mac, you gotta hold Option to minus and then hold Shift to add to a selection. Okay, I've got the right leg selected and I make sure I have the source layer selected. Now I'll hit Command Shift J to cut out and paste into place. That leg has now been separated, and I'll rename this right leg. And now cutting out the arm is going to be a little more challenging. I got to trace a little bit, so it just requires more clicks. But you know, this polygonal lasso is pretty useful because I don't have to hold down the button. I can make a selection with just clicking, and that's just a much easier process on my arm. I don't have to hold down a button, and holding down the button just creates a lot of fatigue. Okay, there's a selection. Make sure the source layer is selected. Shift Command J, and this would be the left arm. All right, now that I made a selection over here with that left arm, I kind of don't feel like tracing the right arm, and it looks like it's exactly the same as the left arm. So what if I just duplicate with Command J and move this over? Go up to the Edit menu, Free Transform, or Transform, and then Flip Horizontal. And I'm literally just going to try to move it in the same spot. It's not the same. I mean, it's pretty close, but it's not the same. I'm trying to be lazy, and it's probably taking me more effort right now. But what I was trying to do was put it in the same spot. Then if you hold Command and click on the thumbnail, it makes a selection of all those pixels, and then all I have to do now is just use a little bit of minus selection. So I'm holding Option or Alt, and then I need to add a little more. I can just make a huge selection around the hand because there's no pixels behind it. Okay, and yeah, sometimes you try to take a shortcut and it ends up taking longer than if you were just to do it the long way. And that's what happened to me just now. All right, select the source layer, Shift Command J, and there's my right arm. Okay, now I'm going to save this as a PSD file. Let's just check it out. Leg, arm. Oops, how does that copy? Let me trash that. Okay, arm, and I'll rename layer 1 the body. I might as well separate the pupils here since I'm already here. Using the elliptical mask tool. So I drew a selection around that pupil, and now I'm just going to hit Command J to duplicate that. Command J. And I didn't cut it out, I just duplicated it because I'm just going to put a white cover over those. Making a selection, holding Shift to make 2 selections. I hit the letter D to switch the default colors back to black and white. I hit X to flip white to the top. And then Option big delete key or Option backspace or Alt backspace will fill with that top color. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but I just filled that area with white. So the original base layer now has just no pupils, but since I cut those pupils out earlier, they've been separated. That's going to be really useful. And I think I'm going to need, I'll worry about the eyelids in After Effects. Okay, here we go, save as a PSD file, and we've been calling this guy SpongeRob. And I'm saving as a PSD with layers. Now let's go over to After Effects, double click to import. There's SpongeRob. Make sure you switch from footage to composition. Just clicking OK in case I had any drop shadows or layer styles on there. Double click on this composition. I'm going to put a different background. Command Y for a new solid. I'm just going to call this gradient. Effect, generate. 4-color gradient's pretty. Drag this to the very bottom. I'm using the solo button on the left leg, and I hit the letter Y, and it's really important to move your anchor point for all your pieces as soon as you bring it in. It's just good to get that out of the way. Soloing the right leg, make sure the right leg is selected, and I'm just moving that anchor point to where it's going to rotate from. There's that left arm. I might have to move the anchor point. I might have to adjust the position of the anchor point a little bit. I'm just kind of guessing where I think it's going to rotate from. I'm not really testing anything out. Okay, where's the pupil at? Pupils don't really need anchor point change. And I think that'll be fine. Okay, I want to make an eyelid, or he needs eyelashes. All right, I did a demo during the Zoom lecture about making the eyelashes. I'll do it again. Eyelashes, and they should be black. Okay, I made a black solid. I'm gonna hit T and turn the opacity down so I can see through it a little bit. It looks kind of weird because there's pupils on top. If that's bugging you out, I'm just going to put the eyelash layer on the very top. Opacity has been lowered so I can see exactly where I need to cut the eyelashes. And I'm going to make my own custom eyelashes here, alright? I'm feeling kind of creative. But I might delete this later. Okay, boom. Okay, that's good enough for now. You guys get the idea. I'm just carefully using the pen tool and making curves and sharp points where I want them to be. Change the opacity back to 100%. Okay, that's one eyelash. And I'm lazy right now, so I'm just going to duplicate this to the other side. To flip it, I'll hit S for scale, and you got to uncheck this link. The way you flip something horizontal is to just simply to change the scale to -100 on the x-axis. But if I were to change the x value to -100, it would also change the y value to -100. So it would flip it vertically and horizontally. I'm just going to uncheck so the proportions don't stay constrained. And when I type -100, it'll flip it right across. Let's just move that into place. Okay. That looks good enough. All right. Okay, time for some eyelids. I need a yellow solid. Use this eyedropper so I don't have to like waste time getting the perfect yellow. I need it to be exactly the same as that background. Eyelids. Once again, hit the letter T to show opacity and turn down the opacity a little bit. And I'm not even going to worry so much about the shape of this because I'm going to be animating. I'm going to be animating the mask path. Okay, the eyelids got to go underneath the eyelashes, but stay above the pupils. Okay, looks good. And let me move forward in time a little bit. Hit the letter M to reveal the mask path attribute. Okay, and I'm just going to set some keyframes around here. Okay, just changing the shape of this mask at various points in time. That's how you're going to be able to create some movement and this illusion that SpongeBob is blinking. All right. One of the requirements was that your pupils, the character's pupils, have to move as well. So let me start off the pupils looking to the left. Okay, don't forget to hit P to expose the position attribute and keyframe position. Now the eyelids come down, and that's where I'm gonna drop a keyframe in there to keep that position of the pupils. Then on the very next frame, I'm gonna switch the pupils looking to the other side. All right, let's see if SpongeBob is starting to look more alive here. Creating another blink, I decided I wanted to make this a looping animation. I'm copying and pasting this keyframe. And you might think, why can't you copy and paste a keyframe for the left pupil and the right pupil at the same time? Well, if I copy these two keyframes, because it's actually two layers, I'm copying both layers. And then when I hit Command V to paste, I'm actually pasting two new pupils, and that's not good. I don't want 4 pupils. I only want 2 pupils. My point is, if you're copying and pasting keyframes, you've got to just limit yourself to copying keyframes for one layer at a time. If I was copying position, rotation, and scale keyframes, I could do 3 keyframes. I could copy 3 keyframes and paste those 3 keyframes, but you can't copy keyframes for 2 different layers and paste them. You end up pasting the layer. All right. Okay, there's some blinking going on. All right, the movement of the pupils and the blinking makes this character seem alive. And now I'm just going to animate some arm movements. Try to time it right. I'm not even going to do, I'm just going to animate one arm here. Dropping a keyframe in there. And then copy and paste this original keyframe. And this doesn't look so good because there's a gap. You know, I should have, in Photoshop, I should have filled in the rest of the arm. Okay, but there's some movement going on now. Okay, it's not too late to fill in that arm, guys. Okay, I'm going to show you guys something. That is the left arm. Let me save my After Effects project. SpongeBob 2. I'm going to jump back into Photoshop and let me just hide everything except for that left arm. And I'm going to use some art skills here. Let's use this brush tool. Switch to black by hitting X. Look, I'm drawing right on the left arm layer. Okay, I want it to be a little darker. I'm going to switch to pencil. Okay, need some white filled in there. I don't know if that's perfect white, so I'll just hit I for eyedropper, select that white, hit B, using the brackets to increase my brush size. Okay, that's good enough. All right, so I filled in that sleeve. Let's get some yellow for the rest of his arm. Okay, and then I'm going to be a little lazy here. I'm just going to make a layer underneath, switch to black, and just paint a little bit underneath to get outline. Okay, that's good enough. And then I'll select both these layers and hit Control E and merge. Keeps the name of, when you hit Control E to merge layers, whatever the top layer was is going to be what the name of the layer becomes. And now I'll turn on all the layers again, and I'll hit Command S to save this PSD file with the same name. I'm overwriting the previous document. Okay. I'm keeping everything the same, even the order is the same. Like that arm should be underneath the body, but I'm gonna leave it the same, and I'm gonna replace this SpongeBob composition. Okay, watch. I'm gonna right click. I'm sorry. I'm gonna expand the folder, and I'm looking for that left arm. There it is. Right click, and I'm gonna replace that with the SpongeBob PSD file. Okay, but okay, I guess it's just gonna pick that one layer. Crap. I think it updated it automatically. Yeah, it updated automatically. Okay, brought it back to the left arm. I don't know. Yeah, something weird happened. It just updated it, but I think that's what I wanted anyway. So just trying to show you that if you just overwrite the layer, it'll update. Okay, that's how you can cut up an image and get it ready for animation in After Effects.